Yeah, I was like, you were sent like some photos of it. Yeah, look at that. It's like 315 carry. I was like,
No, I think it was 334
Yeah,
carry.
the one that was
334 carry.
Yeah, it was like 358 total.
That's like 30 yards over my hardest smash with roll.
Yeah, it's a 360. It's like right there. Yeah,
Just
keeping up on it.
I'm just like, I'm actually entering the next long drive tour.
Welcome back, everybody. Another podcast, boys. Well, it's the middle of winter here, and we couldn't be more excited to see some green grass sometime soon. Yeah.
What do you mean it's not green grass out there right now?
I mean, honestly, we've had pretty lucky so far. It's been a pretty good winter.
Yeah, winter has just hit us now.
Yeah, and that's
have-
what usually happens around here. Like,
Well, 2 days ago, it was like 11 degrees.
Yeah,
it was
beautiful.
Outside, yeah, it was
Oh, you could have played golf 2 days ago easily.
For sure.
Indian Lake was probably packed.
Oh, Indian Lake was
Actually, it
jammed.
would have been underwater. It would have been so wet. Are you
Yeah, but it would have been
kidding me?
jammed
It would've
anyways.
been, yeah.
Because here, when you get that one chance to go out in the middle of February to
It's
play
true,
golf, you go out and play golf in the middle of February.
And that's what's so good. Like, it's funny because, like, yeah, it's fun, but it's just the fact that you can just, like, go out and just be like, yeah, I golfed in January or
Yeah,
February. Like,
yeah.
we don't get that around here. I wish we could play fucking all year round.
We only have one golf course Indian Lake that's open, and basically they don't change the pins because, of course, the ground's
you can't cut new
frozen.
pins.
No, you can't cut
There-
new pins.
there's ice in the pins when you go out and play.
Yeah. There's a video that whenever people hitting off the ice at Indian Lake, remember that?
Oh,
Brad
yeah.
did it. A couple people did it, just hitting off the ice at Indian Lake.
Oh, even when you're hitting into the greens, your ball's jumping up in the air like 10 feet because it's hitting concrete
Oh,
ice.
yeah. It's so funny. But smartest thing they did is they installed mats on the tee boxes,
Yeah, I seen
which is
that.
really good idea.
Because if you are going to go through with having people on the course when it's in the middle of winter, at least don't ruin your grass.
Yes, at least just put mats up because, like,
No one's making a pitch mark on the grass, like
No.
on the greens and stuff, or on the
No.
fairways. You're barely going to take a divot. You're just going to be thinning everything and picking everything. But when you are hitting off like the full tees and you're taking a full wedge shot from like 120 yards, yeah, you could probably take some ground or maybe break a shaft or two.
yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Let's dive into this full swing, guys. New Netflix
I only watched the
series.
first episode so far.
We're
but
only
it was electric.
Yeah, I've only seen the first one too, so.
I want to watch more of it. Like, I watched the first episode and said, I want to watch every single second of this right now.
I dove right into it right when I had that first episode. I just kept going because I mean it did exactly what I hoped it did, and it kind of just showed the actual life of what it is to be a tour pro.
Well,
and
that's
it
what-
explained the difficulty of it, of like going in each week knowing people might not know that these guys play these tournaments and they're betting on themselves because they don't make that cut, they don't make a paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's
Which is tough. And if you don't have, like, especially new guys getting onto the tour, that might not have those big sponsors,
yeah.
like the travel, the like everything else.
Well, they say it's about when they asked a lot of tour players, it's about 10 grand to play in one event. Like to go to one PGA Tour event between where they travel from, their house, their accommodations, taking their team with them. It costs about 10 grand every single tournament. And speaking of that, I remember actually a hilarious stat because right now as we're doing this, we're getting into the Saturday of the Genesis. Go Tiger, made the cut. We'll talk about that in a
On the
second.
number.
On the number.
We got it all.
But Max Homa, who's currently leading, who's having an unbelievable year, made something of like $28,000 or like $38,000 in his first season on tour, and he went and I think he played over 30 events or 35 events. So it's like when you're using all of that money, he lost tons of money. Do you know what I mean? That first season, like without his sponsorships, and now of course he's doing really well for himself, but making just upwards of like $25,000 on the tour, not quite what you're looking for.
Well, I said, like, so we did the whole bet where, like, who's going to do well in the FedEx Cup. I said to Heath, he's playing well, he's doing good.
What did you say?
But then I said to Heath, to Gala.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I was waiting
But
for
then I also said, like,
remember who did it.
Max Homa is going to have a great year.
I was
He
told
is,
Ken-
he
He is having a great year so
Yes.
Max has definitely proven himself out there.
far. Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
it's showing
Choose
like
again.
I had Speith.
You had Speith.
I'm not totally different. I'm not
he
totally
missed a
upset
cut this
about that.
weekend, but he's trending in the right direction.
He's there.
Ricky's doing
Ricky's-
well. Like I love seeing Ricky.
His name's
I didn't see that.
his name's been on the board, which is just good enough for him now. He hasn't been on the board in a while, and now he's starting to show himself up there, which is good to see. I mean, I love Ricky. I'm happy to see him doing that.
Yeah.
But it's same as him and Jason Day were saying very similar items. It's like you do kind of go through where Ricky was going and like where Jason Day was a little bit with his mother. Is there's times when you're maybe not yourself and you're not playing like that. That both of them were a little bit on the same trend where for several years, it wasn't a couple months, it wasn't a couple tournaments off, where it was like they disappeared for a little bit of time and now they're both kind of back, but Ricky's in a huge way.
But the big thing about Ricky is like Ricky with getting swing changes, he's going through swing changes. His swing is so much better now, so much more reliable.
Yeah.
Like before, like it was very smooth, very flowy, still a good swing. But when the golf club's around your back, it's really hard to hit consistent golf shots.
Yeah.
So for him to get higher hands and everything that he's changing, then you're seeing it. Like he's always putted well, but he just needed like just that consistency, and those swing changes have been phenomenal.
I can vouch it's pretty difficult when you got your club behind your back like that.
Yeah. Can you ever?
Yeah.
Let's just slow-mo clip Ryan right now. Just build the flattest golf swing and it lands.
I can hit it hard, but it could go anywhere.
When you're going through those changes though, and you're not seeing that success for all the amateurs and the pros out there, it's like it takes time to implement moves, and then imagine how much time it takes to implement new moves and then try to play at the highest level on the PGA Tour.
That's one of the funniest things, like on a smaller scale, of course. Like I'm not going to dive too much into it, but like teaching lessons around here, someone comes in and does a couple lessons with you, and like, oh yeah, I'm really not seeing many results. It's like, okay, well, are you practicing? Yes or no? This time it's no.
Yeah.
And then
I haven't seen you since the last lesson.
yeah, exactly.
That's the classic. It's just like, so like how are things going? How the stuff we talked about, how it will go, how did it go all week? You know, I have a busy schedule. I haven't swung since I last saw you.
But
Well, you're basically just redoing the same lesson over again.
Exactly,
and that's what it gets into. Because and that's the thing, is like you usually see these guys on tour when they go through swing changes, it's daily range sessions for hours.
yeah, 100%.
Just
And that's what I tell people. Like whenever I do lessons, and I'll tell people, it's like, you know what I've been working on all year? 2 things.
Yeah.
The entire year.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing like 2 things a lesson every 2 weeks. I've been working on 2 things all year.
Before we go into anything else, let's turn around and take a look at the TV right here and just look at Steve Stricker's last 5 events were win, 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 third win. Did anyone else
Stricker's
know that?
No, he's a stud.
I have not
Steve
watched much
just-
of the Champions
Yeah.
Tour.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of Champions Tour golf.
Champions Tour golf.
So Steve is just taking all these old guys' money when he probably should be on the
I seen
PGA
Stephen
Tour.
Ames won last week, I think, which is
Really?
Must when he came third.
Yeah, because like my dad was saying it to me. He was like, "Yeah, like I said, he was like Stephen Ames doing pretty well there." I was like, "Stephen Ames?" I was like, "I mean, maybe like Mackenzie Hughes or like Taylor or Svensson or someone." It's like, "No, Stephen Ames."
Stephen
I was
Ames
like,
ran away with the tournament
I had
last
to
week.
go and look at the fucking. And I was like looking at it. I was like, "Man, Stephen Ames. Stephen Ames hasn't fucking played on tour in a while." I was looking.
Stephen Ames disappeared after Tiger Woods destroyed him.
Have that next project in your mind, but don't know where to start? These guys will bring it to reality. They'll work with you to create your vision and bring it to real life. That next project you've kind of been putting off and that you don't want to start it now. Type in halifaxrenoworx.ca, click to get a quote, work with their professionals, and get started ASAP. Now is the time to start that next project, whether it's a home addition, a new deck, or a renovation. See our website, go to our sponsors page, or see the link below. Halifax Renoworx. Yeah. Episode 1, the frenemies.
Yeah, the frenemies episode.
Jordan and Justin.
JT.
Yeah.
I mean, that was such a cool thing to watch, like it from JT's perspective when he won the PGA.
Yeah.
Like it was, and like you said, the way that they shot it, it was just phenomenal. Like him going to like the CVS because his allergies are acting up, like stuff that you
his
never
card gets declined. That's one of us.
He's like, you gotta be shitting me. Like,
I also love how he just like was casually walking out, and then this guy that was walking in, oh hey, good luck, JP, and he's just like thanks, and just keeps walking.
it's like, do you imagine? It's so, but also like they're going to a practice round and just like, oh yeah, so like just jumping on a private jet, the 40-minute flight just to go play a practice round. It's like,
and then the big thing I loved what they talked about there was they always play for something.
Yeah,
and that's huge. If you're an amateur and you want to get ready, you want to get tournament ready, when you play your practice rounds, play for a little bit of cash.
Play for a little bit what's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
just a touch.
yeah. Just put something on the line that it's going to make you grip the club.
And that's one of the things that honestly, no offense to you, Neil, but annoys
$6.
but annoys me a little bit about playing a practice round with Neil, because the way you do practice rounds is you don't really putt or do anything. You kind of just like pick your spots where you want to hit it and put up to it, which is great for tournament prep. But like, we should start doing that too, where we play a ball and we're playing for something.
Well, it would be good to be able to. So what everyone doesn't see is that's what got a lot of guys Tuesday and Mondays look like.
Yeah.
Or like a Monday would be like a really casual day, and then a Tuesday would be like a game with the guys, play for a couple $100 or do something like that, and then Wednesday's like a pro-am.
Yeah.
We get like one.
Yeah, you get one day.
3-hour evening round before the next day, and I just want to get some chips and putts in or like some hits in, and we just don't have that availability or time.
Yeah, we don't.
But with that it's extremely important to always be playing for something. Like you should, if you're trying to push yourself just a little bit of getting better,
Always put something on the line.
play for something. Like for a lot of like for a general, if you're looking at something to like maybe play for something like maybe a $50 bill where it's just enough where it's not gonna break
It's just
your
enough
brain.
where it's enough where you just like you don't want
that one
to
guy
lose it.
just doesn't drop out, because even if you're having a shit round, you're also sitting there like, okay, like I need to do something here, like to try and come back, like to keep yourself in it a bit.
Well, that's
You have a partner.
well, that's what's so good about like
partner, yeah, like
that's what's so good about like Daytona and other games like that, where like you have to finish the hole because everyone's scores matter. You can't do like if you're playing best ball, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna pick up. You got this hole. Like it's nice when everything matters, because again, in a tournament, everything matters. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna take this hole off and go.
Yeah, like, oh, it's 4 feet, I'm just like not gonna put it in, where it's like, no, you gotta bury it because I want to take your money.
That's
Yeah,
the other thing.
exactly.
If you're coming around tournament prep time and you're out playing golf, putt out those 3-footers, putt out those 2-footers, putt out the 1-footers, because those are going to be the ones that are going to sneak up.
When I first became a pro, I got some heat back when I was at like Kenwo Golf Club, because I'd play like whether it would be like a men's night or something like that, but like your pro score really didn't count or something like that. All the guys would just be like, man, Neil kicks it to like 4 feet and just kind of like doesn't really putt it sometimes. Like there'll be like 2 or 3 times we'll hit to like 4 feet and not putt it, and they're like, yeah, but like it's kind of like cheating and stuff like that. I was like, oh no, like when it means it, I'm the guy on the practice green making 600 4-footers in a row because I know I have to make those. But if I'm out for a casual game, you sometimes don't need to do that. But I'm not playing for anything. If I was playing for a $50 bill or a $100 bill or even something like lunch afterwards, I would be putting that in the hole because we can all
that
miss.
gets me in the game more is playing for lunch and a beer after. Fucking $100, that lunch and beer, I want that for free.
Because if I don't get it, I ain't eating it.
Yeah.
And it's like I also love the thing about the frenemies, the episode 1 there, where it's like, yes, like beating your buddy is great, but what's great is other people have to watch him give you his money.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like there's nothing better than that.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite games was actually when we were at Brunello, was the signed bill game.
Yeah.
That was a fun game to play because it wasn't about the money. It was more about the bragging rights that you'd have that signed bill that from the guy you played, basically with a little note, and you'd have that. Like, I mean, throwback to old Miles. Miles has like a pile of the
Carlisle,
and
too.
Carlisle.
Yeah,
They have,
Carlisle's
like,
there.
They have hundreds.
they have like hundreds of dollars and $5 bills that are just signed by all.
And they're not being used because they're just to showcase.
Yeah,
Like I
literally
remember all these times I beat you.
Still one of my favorite games. That would like. It wasn't you were paying for the money, but you were playing for that like just the clout. Because I remember when I finally beat Miles one day, I remember
that was a huge thing whenever you were there. It's like you and Miles had like this, like we made signs with your guys' match that like for this $5 bill, like everyone knew this match was happening. It's you versus Miles.
Yeah, I still have that $5 bill at home in a frame.
You lost a couple other $5 bills going across the bridge when you had no more money in your car. You're like, I had to give up one of my signed $5 bills.
Yeah, I did have to give up a signed $5 bill.
Look at it.
Sometimes whenever you go across the bridge, you're like,
yeah. There goes one of the signed $5. But I just went for the person that didn't really care about having as much.
yeah.
Again, with Jordan and JT there, it's all of a sudden you also see like they grew up together, playing together, but there was different paths for them. A lot of them see them now where JT's like, really, really good, but that wasn't the way it always was.
That's what Dan Rappaport said. Like whenever they first came on the tour, it's like JT was known to kind of be like Jordan's friend, and now JT's
a major champion.
Yeah,
he's his own, right? He's Tiger's. He's Tiger's friend.
Well, and JT's catching up to Speith's major titles. Like he's what?
And I'd love Speith. I would love to see Speith get to where he was, like his first few years on tour.
And that's what he talked about in the episode. JT was like, it was tough. Like, as much as I was happy for my friend, it was tough to watch. Like, he's just killing it. And like, he was doing so well.
And he's working just as hard right beside him, not seeing any type of success.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's when it gets more into the mental head too, because you're like, this is my best buddy that I've been playing golf with all this time, and I'm watching him excel, and I'm working just as hard, and I'm not seeing the same results. So that's another mind game that you start playing for yourself.
And then you see him and his father on the range, even before that PGA Championship, grinding, looking at his swing, going, "I hate that part of my swing. That's the worst part." He finds his swing even disgust. It's like it's a little bit of someone when you put them on, when you look, well, even when I hate myself on camera. I don't love to look at myself, right? Stuff like that. When you have those qualities, it's because you're aware of them. He's very much, he doesn't love that he like jumps at the ball a little bit sometimes. And actually I can relate to that a little bit. But what he tries to do is he tries to be a little quieter with his wedge game and his scoring irons. So when they're discussing his golf game, they're discussing his swing, you can visibly see that he's upset because he's not making the swing that he wants to do. And that's one of the best players in the world. Let alone all the amateurs out there that go, "Oh, I don't like the look of my swing." No one does.
No, yeah. And the one thing, obviously there's a lot of changes I need to make to my swing, but I took a summer there and tried to make it just look pretty. I was just like, man, I want my swing to look like Rory's. I want my swing to look like a Tiger's, just like the picture perfect swing, and it fucked my game so bad for that whole summer, because I was not really focusing on my ball striking or playing or any of that. I was just trying to make it look so pretty, and I couldn't do it.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what the whole swing your swing thing comes from, right? Like
perfection, so Max Homa has a really good one. It's performance over perfection. I just heard that, where you're worried about the result. If you toe it, if you heel it, where did it end up? Is it in an okay spot? Instead of trying to be a perfectionist, which everyone can learn from this, because we all are in kind of golf, you get yourself into a spot where it's your performance. Oh, I mishit it. But it's in the left side of the fairway. It's not the end of the world.
I remember back when we were juniors growing up in Antigonish, and you were a much better golfer than I was.
I thought you were going to say than you are now. And I was going to say, yeah, no, I used to be able to
actually, maybe. But whenever you were a phenomenal junior golfer, when you were super young. And I remember myself and Dad and you went out and played one time. And I remembered specifically we were number 7. This is the one that just is in my head, just locked in there. And little par 3, it's 150 yards. You hit a shot, and you're like, "Oh, God damn it!" And you're pissed because used to be a
on the
hothead.
golf course.
Not so much. You're way better now. Back in the day, though, hothead on the golf course. But
back in the day, we're only going 2 years back.
No, this is
we're talking about last month.
Yeah. So then I remember Dad and I were playing, and you hit the shot, and you're like, "Shit! That's so bad." And then, I remember it ends up 15 feet just right of the hole. And you're like, I wanted to start there and I wanted to draw, and it just didn't draw. And I was like, man, you still have a 15-foot putt, relax.
I'm a 13 or 14.
Yeah, you were 14. And I was like, you are way too good to be complaining, about a 12-foot putt. Yes, it's not perfect. You can't hit a perfect golf shot. And that's one of the things, people think when they're 100 yards out, it's oh, I need to stiff this to a couple feet. It's no, the PGA Tour average from 100 yards is 20 feet or something like that. It's the golf game is hard.
I'm just trying to hit the ball on the green.
Yeah, exactly.
Golf in general, though, you do especially
2-putt par, baby, 2-putt par.
Just get it going straight. Just go.
Love putt on aerated greens when it's automatic 2-putt. Yes.
Let me tell you, there is nothing more that drives me
hitting the driver, missing the fairway, and that is what it is. There's nothing more that fucking grinds my gears than being inside 100 yards and missing the green.
Oh yeah.
That makes
I thought you were gonna
me
say aerated
snap.
greens. It's like I think that's everyone. Everyone hates aerated greens.
No, that inside the 100. Well, that's the story of my life. I mean,
But it's like, how do you? It's like I sit there. I'm like, you should learn to play for free. How do I snap hook a 50-degree wedge or fucking 60-degree wedge? Like, how do you hook a 70-yard shot? Like, oh yeah. And, that
I make a little game out of it whenever I play with Ryan. Whenever he's inside 100 yards, and I put money on it and say, is he gonna chunk this short or skull it over?
Joe's sitting there. He's like, yes. Say, yes.
It's like this lie, little thin. This one's gonna be a thin over the green. Chunk. Shit.
I didn't know you also did that. I bet myself like I won $100 last time.
Ryan's golf game is the most interesting thing to watch ever because he hits shots that sound like poor pros. That it comes off the face and you're like, holy shit.
Well, no, when you hit the driver, it would be better than 80% of the PJ.
Well, yeah, well, we did a fitting the other day. Your ball speed was 184.
Yeah.
Really
like stepping on it.
Yeah, I was like, you were sent like some photos of it. Yeah, look at that. It was like 315 carry. I was like,
No, I think it was 334
yeah,
carry.
the one that was
334 carry.
Yeah, it was like 358 total.
That's like 30 yards over my hardest smash with roll.
But then Ryan also hit some shots and it's just like,
2 episodes ago, we talked about how far 300 yards was. Yeah, Ryan's just like, yeah, it's a 360. It's like right there. Yeah, just keeping up on it.
I'm just like, I'm actually entering the next long drive tour.
Oh, man.
oh, this hole's 450 yards. Might have to just hit an iron off the tee.
I don't even know what I think. If I can play from the places that you put your drive, though, I don't know where this.
I want to do.
I don't know where the bogeys come from.
I want to do that as a video where the four of us go out and we just play a scramble.
Oh, we're gonna play 4-man scrambles
And just see
set
how
new
low we go.
course
Yeah,
records?
just try to go for
Oh
course
yeah,
record.
no,
as we
we're
go.
gonna walk
they did
into the pro shop as us four and be like, "What's your course record? We're gonna break it right now."
Because I would love to hit some shots from where Ryan's ball ends up.
So what do you mean when you play a par 4 and you have a chip in for your second shot? You have like a 35-yard chip. You're like, when? So how do I get over par from here?
Yeah.
Let me show you. I will show you exactly how you get over
Right,
there.
chunk, thin. Fuck.
Double fucking shit.
Oh, back to even. But when you're getting into, like, you can see it. Like, we all have our own swing traits. We all have our own swing thoughts. Like, whether it's JT, whether it's us, we don't like it. You're too flat. You don't like yours. You try to be perfectionist. Every single day I look at my swing and I go, what can I change? But that actually comes with evolution and knowing more about the game is accepting where you're at. And especially if you're working with coaches and pros or you're doing that, you're trying to get, and it's a very much known thing, you're trying to get 1% better every day, that everyone says, but you're just trying to work on making your move better. Drastic change and going through all those motions, well, you can see it with Ricky Fowler, a little bit with Jason Day, like we talked about. It takes a significant amount of time. Not a couple weeks when you take a couple lessons from your local pro. Those guys are on the range every day grinding those moves, and they still can't figure it out. And they were the best in the world.
It's like Josh said. It's like about getting to your point of feeling comfortable with the new swing, because that's so much like I'll be teaching people and they're like, that's so uncomfortable, I don't like that, and I'm like,
do it. It's like, no, but that's why you're here.
yeah I
You
understand.
need to change what you're doing, because what you're doing is obviously not great. That's why you're here getting a lesson.
Back to the OG podcast. Wouldn't you rather suck differently?
Just suck a little bit differently.
But yeah, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Which we
100%.
in a previous pod as well.
And being more focused on like the result, right? Like once again, performance over perfection. Max Home is really kind of probably going to lead this in, and there's a lot of probably sports psychologists that really like that. But it's just not being too hard on yourself. That's about it. Just knowing that it's uncomfortable, knowing that you're different. But if you come into a lesson, or if you try to make changes, really in anything, in golf in particular, aren't you coming there to be different? Aren't you coming there to have these changes? Like, it's not gonna feel comfortable for weeks, maybe months, right? But what happens is you're not gonna get, all of a sudden you're not gonna suck. If you're with the right professionals, if you're with the right coaches, you're not just gonna all of a sudden go, well, now I can't play golf and I can't even get the ball in the air. It's like, well, that's the sign that you might be actually probably working on too much. You're just trying to maneuver it and change. But there's so many guys within full swing getting into the further episodes, and of course we'll probably be talking about it on further stuff. But you got guys like you sitting around a table with John Rahm, Rory, looking at guys like Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Joel Damon's on there, right?
Yeah, Joel, man, I love that episode, and people got to like really start like that's the thing I like about this show. You get to dive in a little more
About the personality of these
You can see the
golfers.
personalities, and that's what
And their
what we're trying to
mindsets.
do here is
like
we're all just fucking normal people. Like golfers are just normal guys that are really good at hitting balls into holes with sticks.
Well, I mean, one of my one of the honestly, even the Brooks Koepka episode was interesting. Just hearing his thoughts, basically, like how he's saying, like I can't compete with these guys, and that's partly why he's moved on to live.
exactly, and he was like his wife was on there going on about like, well, when Brooks first came into the scene, kind of thing, like
It was all happy, yeah.
happy-go-lucky, winning a lot.
And then now
it
it's
just went.
yeah.
But you think you can maintain that? We all think that because he did it for a little bit.
But like
But
it's
you're a
almost,
fool.
but like that's the thing is it's almost harder for these guys who are winning, and then they stop, and then
Well,
they
that's what
don't
it is.
start winning,
That's what
and
we're
then it gets
seeing.
in your head.
Guys like Jordan, who came on the scene hot,
Yeah.
played really, really well. Struggled for a few years now, coming back, which is great because I love Jordan. He's one of my favorite players. Same with God, who we were just talking to? Why is my blanking right
Brooks?
now? Brooks, yes. Holy shit, what's wrong with me?
It's all good.
Well, no, he's
early.
early on the
morning.
tour.
It's our first-
Yeah, I guess so.
First morning
Displaced
call.
you.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say first morning pod.
It's
We're
so
having
weird.
coffees
Yeah.
with no Baileys in it either. Usually we're sitting around here having beers. We're having coffees.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Like it's with the live. Like,
Growing up.
yes, they're just guys that like I almost just forget about because like live is just you don't really hear much about it because there aren't as many tournaments
no,
because
yeah, and,
it's
like-
it's so for like you don't hear much about it. It's just like it's hard to keep up with all these guys.
Because these guys are the guys, like, I mean, it's like Brooks, one of Brooks's reason was he can't compete weekend to weekend, and so he wasn't getting that paycheck every weekend, so that's partly why he made that move to live, knowing that it's money that's going to be coming in no matter what, it's a less heavy schedule, and the pressure to win, I guess, isn't there whenever you know you're going to make money. Like,
Yeah.
that's the big thing. Like, you can go into a weekend and know and be like, oh, I don't have to play. Like, if I play like shit, I'm still going to get a paycheck and make my money and go home. Like,
And there's a guy who's winning major after major, getting millions and millions, and all of a sudden it's like miscut,
yeah.
$10,000, $20,000, and he's like 3 months in a row of just like, I'm not really making a whole lot. And a lot of people think, well, you're making all that money anyways, you should have all that money. It's like these guys expect a lot out of themselves.
Yeah.
The
100%
money
you have to.
sometimes isn't when you get to the Brooks Koepka, maybe the Rory McIlroy. The money isn't the issue. It's the titles. It's the winning. It's that dream you're chasing of trying to be like really, really good. But there's guys like, was it the worst decision to see Brooks Koepka maybe do something different for a little bit of time? Because there has been, and this is one of the topics I love talking about now that we're starting to see some, and I don't know if you guys seen this, but there have been some chats about maybe a possibility in like whether it's this year, next, and when depending on the contracts and stuff, maybe some returns to the PGA Tour from the LIV. We don't know where that's going to go, right? What?
And do you think
Is there any clause like once they left the PGA Tour that
that's
they're
what I
not
was
able to get
curious
back
that they
in?
were like- I was
They
wondering
haven't.
about
They
that.
haven't really had any discussion because that was the first thing that came up. But then they just were suspended.
Yeah.
So there's no real talk because nobody has done it yet. So until
'Cause
one,
there was a thing I heard like in the full swing. Someone was like they're banned from the PGA Tour. There's a statement in the show.
Yeah.
But I don't know, banned for while you're on the LIV Tour.
They're
You know
not
what
going
I
to
mean?
give us that information as the general public. That they probably know it, but like what happens is, and they were talking about when I was seeing this a little bit on social media. It's like, so let's say Brooks Koepka is the guy, and he is that he might be one of those guys that might want to come back and start competing. We're going to open him on the PGA Tour with open arms. Because he's going to be the first almost like rebellion against like, I tried it, didn't work out. You imagine like the press, like to get in touch with that, like, oh, Brooks Koepka went over and tried it. Now he's back. It's like Jay Monahan would have a field day.
I'm on it. Honestly, if anybody's coming back, I hope it's Cam.
He made such a poor decision.
Oh, I
That
know.
was weird. He was playing so well.
Such
He
a
was playing
great
so
year.
Won
good,
the
and then he just
Open
went.
championship.
He
Like
didn't need it. He didn't need the money. He
No.
didn't need to do that.
he had the
Like, he was a
fan
good player.
base. Like everybody loved Cam on tour. Like I
I've
just
got that video right behind him when he hits it in the water on 18th
Oh, yeah,
Players
you-
Championship on Sunday.
yeah.
Fucking hit like I'm right behind him. Remember, like everyone he had the lead.
Yeah, and then he was like 40 yards in and slipped it up and in. That was
like,
gross.
yeah, it was nuts. Everyone was just like, that crowd went stupid. But I was like, he hits one, bang, into the trees on the right. And I'm like standing there. I'm like, oh shit, Cam just sprayed one. And he tries to hit this like low puncher, like
It had to cut, but it just drew like
and
a
it
couple
flew
feet.
and then straight into the water. I looked
Yeah.
right behind him.
But that's what I mean. Like, he's one of, honestly, out of all the people that went to LIV, he's one of the ones that I was disappointed about, because I loved Cam. I loved him on the tour. His personality, everything about him, the Aussie, like, he's just like a weapon.
He could be one that comes back, though. I would like to start seeing some, and everything's going to relax here in the next several years. Talking this year, probably not, but next few years down the road, he would be one I want to see more. Because unless you're actually going out of your way to watch the LIV Tour, you need to actually look it up and go on it. And sure, they just signed with CW or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, nobody even knows what that is. We're just starting at like in the last podcast and before, like even before we had this one, we were starting to talk about how frequently we're watching golf more because it's accessible on like TSN Plus now, and they're doing a great job of it. That's just happening in the PGA Tour. That is not going to happen for years for the LIV Tour. Like, I haven't watched live LIV Tour, and I don't know if anyone has.
No, my grandfather was talking, like, he watches a bunch of TVs, that's basically all he can do. And he's sitting there, and he's just like, so, like, where do I watch this LIV, like, tour? Where do, like, is it on TV? I'm like, no. Like, you
have to go on YouTube.
Yeah, like, you gotta
I mean, YouTube's easy to use too, but like, if I was ever gonna go sitting around, like, I'm not just gonna hop on YouTube to watch golf.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we're seeing some good guys. Hey, a bunch of Canadian players last week at the Waste Management. I really thought Nick Taylor was going to get it done, but Nick Taylor having a kind of a local guy on the bag that we didn't even know.
I was thinking our boy Markle, man. We used to work together at Cabot for a couple of years there. Wicked dude. And I'm sitting there watching TV. I'm like watching it, and I look, and I'm just like watching, and then I kind of get a glimpse of it. And I was like, fuck, like, Nick Taylor's playing well. And then I start looking, I'm like, is that Dave?
Is that Dave?
And I was like, zoom, and I was like, no, I literally paused the show, and I rewind. I'm like, that's Dave. I like take a Snapchat. I was just like, I take a Snapchat. I was like, let's go, kids, bring it home. And then I message him. I reach out to him. I'm like, yo, like, great plan. This was on like Sunday, and I noticed it on Sunday. So I was like, yo, great plan.
Yeah, because I saw your message on Sunday, so I went and I messaged him too. I was like, man, like, I had no idea. I was like, keep it up. Like, you guys played so fucking good.
Yeah, and so I chatted with him there for a little while. And
Don't let your caddy dreams go, guys.
Yeah.
He started at Cabot, then he was on Michael Glick's bag for a bit, and now he's on Nick Taylor's bag. Huge Canadian supporter. Good for you, Dave.
He plays well too.
He was
can
on
golf
that.
his
Remember
ball.
the show, The Big Break?
Yeah.
He was on season 2. Yeah,
He was on
season
The Big
2 of
Break.
Or maybe it was
He played the Canadian Open.
2. Yeah, Canadian Open. Very solid golf.
Yeah.
Very solid golfer.
Very good golf mind.
IQ level.
And that's
Yeah,
why he
golf
was like,
IQ is
I would
huge.
love to be like, yeah, I would love to follow on a round to hear that conversation between like him and Nick throughout the round, just to hear, because like, yeah, just very good golf.
He's a really good guy. Like, he'd be one of the guys to really keep him in a good spot because he's just so easygoing. Like, okay, we got this. We're good. Like, just a really like happy-go-lucky guy. Like, he's a really good guy.
Yeah, and that's why I'm hoping to get back down to like the Arnold Palmer and the Players. No,
When is the Arnold Palmer?
it is March.
The Players is the 12th.
This is the Players. It's 12
No, the Arnold Palmer will be after.
first.
That's before.
It goes Honda Classic, Arnold, Players.
Okay.
Yeah, which I don't even know what day it is today, but yeah.
Some winter. It's February something.
Yeah,
not
but I
quite
would
sure.
like to. I'm gonna try and get back down there. I've gone the last 2 years in a row. Wicked, such a good event, good layout. Place is packed. Wicked golf.
It's also one of those, like, it's Arnie's place.
Exactly.
Everyone wants to go.
That's one of the elevated events, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's why everyone's
Also,
what does elevated mean? It means they're just giving away way more
well,
money.
that's another great thing that came out of LIV.
Yeah,
is
it's
these
like-
elevated events are sick. Like the
Every week it's
waste management was an unreal tournament.
No,
You had all
it
the
was the
top players
biggest
in the world.
paycheck that they've ever put out. It's
Yeah.
like, what, 3.6?
So they have all these elevated events at all these great spots, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable to watch because maybe some guys, some top players in the world that might have taken that week off, are now playing in it,
Yeah.
and it's really good to see. So now the fields are so strong, It's fantastic.
And that's why they're saying so. Honda Classic is not an elevated event, so the first in the Florida swing there, they said like the field for the Honda Classic will be a little lower, and then Arnie, which is the following.
I mean, the Honda Classic never it never had the strongest field. Like it had a couple big names in
A lot
it,
of
but
Keegan Bradley's in that field.
yeah,
Yeah. Keith Mitchell's.
yeah.
Bunch of guys who are great golfers, but just not John Rahm and those boys.
Not
who
just
are
like
just
yeah, the
he's robotic right now on the other side of the whole thing. Is I don't know how a guy like Max Homa, John Rahm, and like Rory, like it looks like they can't make a double, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, it is pretty nuts.
But yeah, but it's the Florida Swing's coming, which is great. I also love this time of year though, being a golf fan, is because being on the West Coast, it's all evening golf for us out here because it's 4 hours late. So like we watch golf till like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Right now.
Sick and tired of just sucking at sports betting? Or you want to educate yourself more on who to not ever play again in fantasy sports? Check out Mayo Media Network. You can head over to our website, click the sponsors page, or you can find it in the link below. Let's get those bets cashed in, and let's make sure those guys don't get off the bench ever again. Head over to Mayo Media Network. We'll see you there.
Oh, I'm a huge just like let's sit down and play like fucking fibbage or something on like Jackbox. Quiplash, like just sitting around drinking. I'd much rather go to someone's house and just sit around and drink with like your buddies and go out to a bar right now.
It's the bar's fun and it's good for a moment, but the whole night though, like when you're spending like not even 4 or 5 hours, like 6 hours somewheres.
Dude, that's
you spend
Well, the amount of money that you spend whenever you go out at bars.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
On Thursday we were out. We were there from like
7, 8.
8:30 to like midnight.
Oh my and I was like,
And
I was
bet-
at 2 spots before
Yeah.
that. We went down there like, oh,
That's just
you
so
wanna go
much
to
money.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go
My
down to
bill
Sea-
was-
I went
my
to
bill
Sea
was
Smoke for a
$85.
happy hour at like
Gross.
4 o'clock. I went to Sea Smoke at like 4 o'clock. We boozed there at happy hour, had a couple little things to eat. And we hopped from there over to Bicycle Thief.
They had the
and
bicycle
started-
thief's a bold
Bicycle
move.
thief is quite the
Yeah,
play.
Yeah,
Go to
and then-
play to just go for drinks. Let's go. Hey, anybody? Let's go to.
Where do you want to go for a drink? Let's go to Bicycle Thief.
Yeah.
What?
Bill at Bicycle Thief was like 180.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
it does
god.
Like, just like
It
5
really
espresso martinis,
Yeah.
and then I'm hammered.
Well,
and
it's
then
like-
I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'll take all 4 of their bills. And they're like, I'm like, yeah, just give me the bill.
And then you just call your friend Neil to come pick you up,
Yeah.
and then you bring people into my vehicle who all they've drank is espresso martinis, so
we're
they're
all like,
drunk, but they're hyper.
He sits in the car and he's like, everybody shut the fuck up. And we're all just like, yeah, and you know, and then, it's like, everyone's
Grab me from the back, like, yeah.
literally, everyone's like slapping his shoulder.
Grace, you're like, where we going, guys? Where do you want to go next? Hey, do you want to do this? Want to do this?
And right before I leave, I'm like, yeah, and 2 shots of tequila. And then
Oh
everyone
my
was just
god,
like,
that's Ryan's go-to.
yeah, and they were just like, what? Like,
You gotta get on those White Claws. Yeah, you gotta get off the shots, start getting on more of the White Claws. White Claw
problem is
gang.
like I get on, I'll drink like the seltzers, and then I'm like, let's kick it up a notch. Somebody's gonna punch me in the head here. Tequila.
Back we were fucking
Back when
watching
you were-
Harry Potter on the couch and fucking cabin like crying.
Yeah.
With Harry Potter, I can't believe I didn't ask you this. You started this, and you were going to talk about
The Hogwarts
game.
Legacy?
Yes.
So
I
good.
still haven't
Like
downloaded
anyone who
it.
loves Harry Potter, like I'm a gamer too, so I play games anyways. And then they came out with the Hogwarts Legacy, and fuck, it's so good. Like you
Everyone's been
just
talking about
you're just like exploring Hogwarts, like the fucking castle. It's like this is sick. Like it's just
This, that, like, and that's like you're gonna sit and like choose a house, like what
Yeah.
house you're going
Yeah.
to, kind of thing.
and that's
You're
what like you
sitting
can
there,
you can go
and then it's
Gryffindor,
it's
Hufflepuff,
different
Ravenclaw,
stories.
Based on
Slytherin.
what you pick.
Different
based on what you do.
storylines on what one you pick,
Yeah.
so the game could last a long time.
Well, you could do all of them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
and I'm
probably
probably
their
going
point.
to.
Oh, you gotta start off with Gryffindor,
Yeah,
obviously.
and I'm probably going to because
start-
it's such man.
I
You
would
just
probably start with Hufflepuff because the only thing is that's the one house that I have the least amount of information on. After the books, after the movies, it's like
well, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't give you like a ton of info. Like, it's like, oh, if you're Hufflepuff, like this is kind of what you lean towards. So it changes like your dialogue. Like, it doesn't actually like educate you too much on the actual house itself.
it's too bad. I was really hoping to get educated more on Hufflepuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
because all in the whole entire
Who wants to
series,
get educated on Hufflepuff?
all you hear about is Gryffindor, of course, because the main house. But then you just hear of Slytherin as well.
Yeah.
So it's like
So that's what I did. I did Ravenclaw because it's like I'm not doing Hufflepuff, so I'm gonna do Ravenclaw.
I heard that Ravenclaw has the worst storyline.
Oh really?
That's what I just saw. TikTok
Devastating.
That's that you hate to hear that.
Devastating.
That's why you do Gryffindor, because it probably has the best storyline.
Yeah, I don't know if it would.
probably has the only story.
I bet Slytherin has the best storyline.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like I'm working on my way towards to get like the cursed spells. I'm just like can't wait.
Yeah,
Just like, hey, how are you?
I watched a video the other day. It was just like anything off the trolley.
It's so funny.
Everybody.
There's also I saw one the other day. So there's a spell called Revelio. That's pretty like in a like an RPG game. Like it might have like some sort of sensor mode where it'll show you like chess and stuff. So this is like Revelio, and you have to do a bunch of stuff with it. And I saw this funny thing. Like, every Harry Potter person playing Hogwarts Legacy right now, it's like Revelio. Just like bouncing around the apartment, like, Revelio. It's so fucking funny, but that game is so good. Oh my god.
Harry Potter in general is just the best.
Yeah. And it's gorgeous. Oh my god. I just unlocked my broom, so I'm starting to fly around now.
Just unlock my broom.
Oh fuck yeah. That's great. So you're just flying around and like it's a big map. Like they made a big map, like there's all kinds of areas and they're sick, really scenic areas. And it's like you just kind of get out of your mind and just like
Sit down.
this is fucking
That's what video games are for. It's to
Yes.
shut your brain off.
shut your brain off.
Imagine that game in VR.
Oh no.
Imagine fighting dragons, leaving the Quidditch.
Oh my
god. Just like, oh my god. This is way too. You look back and it's just like a dragon face. You're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck.
Oh, great game though.
Yeah, I can't
Great.
wait. I gotta download it. A bunch of the boys have been talking about it,
Yeah.
and now you, and they're
Yeah.
like, you haven't downloaded, and everybody knows. I'm
Because you're a
Harry
huge Potter
nut.
guy, yeah.
I literally go to Florida every fucking year and go to Harry Potter.
Oh, you want to go to Harry Potter World so bad?
Everyone's like, man, like you still do that. I'm like, fucking.
I mean,
right,
I don't
They
think
have new stuff every
every.
I don't think there's nobody bigger fan than my mom.
Yeah, your mom's a
My
huge Harry
mom,
Potter fan.
She when she went to Harry Potter World, she cried.
Yes.
She was in full tears.
Yeah.
When she went, like she was bawling her eyes out, and yeah, I think I gotta suggest this game for her because she would lose
Oh
her
my
mind
God,
if
it's
she could
so
play
good.
Mom loves it too. Mom was showing Mom this game. She's like, cool. Mom hits me with before I came up here. I was back at like my parents' place, and she's like, did you download the game? I was like, no, it's like $100. You want to buy the game for me? I was just like, actually, I need your MasterCard hooked to my account anyways. But I was like,
purchase this game twice.
God, do I want to spend $100 on a video game? Nah. Hey, Grace, you want to go spend $500 at a bar? Yeah.
Priorities.
right? Exactly. I'm such an idiot. But
Oh my God, there was a time when we were at Cabot, Gracie and I. It was on Canada Day.
fuck yeah.
Canada Day, and we just got on this Jaeger bomb kick.
we
We
were like,
drank the
I'm surprised
bar.
my heart didn't explode.
Yeah, I'm don't know
telling
how.
you, like, I literally telling you, I mean, like, upwards of 40 Jaeger bombs
We were buying Jaeger bombs. Oh yeah, we were buying Jaeger bombs for everyone at
for
the bar.
hours. We went down in
hours.
the
Guessing at the
afternoon.
old public house.
Oh, the public house. Everyone.
went there
We
at,
just would
like-
get like, give us 20 Jaeger bombs, and then just go around the public house, and be like, who wants a
of
Jaeger
20,
bomb?
like rounds of 20, and we did it until we drank all their Jaeger bomb dry. They literally or all their Jaeger, all
they
their
ran-
Jaeger dry.
They ran across the convenience store. They ran across the convenience store to get more Red Bull because we drank them out of Red Bull.
So
I believe it.
Who was
there
those the Will that ran
resort
across?
guests
It's
there.
like, and then
Sometimes
also
you just snap. Sometimes
Surprise.
you live somewhere where no one's there.
Yeah.
You have to
There
just
was
kind of make your own fun.
like literally people were like, dude, these people work here. Like we're resort guests around like, you look like you need a Jaeger bomb.
Yeah.
And there was like we did it for hours.
Yeah.
And it was to the point where like they went down to like there's like 3 bars there and they went down to the other ones to bring up more Jaeger.
Yeah.
And then we drank that.
Yeah, they're not going to close your bills. They want you to drink.
Well,
more.
that was the most money I've ever spent in a night. But then, surprise, guess what? We went back to our place and we just had everyone who worked there over to the house and partied all night long.
Nice.
Like, we didn't go to bed till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna go to bed today.
Yeah, exactly. You can't.
Jaeger bombs.
Don't do this.
my car on Thursday evening with the espresso shot queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, I think my bill.
God, man, I couldn't. I even like rolled down my window, and outside was loud. Like, I don't know if everyone was making espresso shots, but they were out there just like, oh my gosh, this weekend I'm like, whoa, let's roll this back up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Thursday downtown was just busy in general because it was that was the day it was like 12 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And people were
Yeah.
all-
We sat on the patio.
Yeah.
Sea smoke. We were
Yeah.
at the patio. They had the little fire pit in front, but we sat on the patio and had drinks.
Oh yeah, that's
I was like, we were sitting there like, this is crazy.
well, it's just the Canadian way. The moment your temperature gets above like negative temperature in the middle of February, like, yep, patio's open. Let's get it going.
T-shirt, shorts. God, it's a summer day out today.
Yeah, I was wearing like a sweater and a hoodie.
Yeah.
And I was
A
just
sweater and a hoodie.
Yeah, a sweater underneath the hoodie.
Flannel?
No.
That's kind of weird.
Like a crew neck sweater.
Oh, okay. That actually wouldn't look too bad.
Yeah. And then
Well, it just beefs you up a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
well, that guy's big.
You always look good.
I haven't showered in like 2 days. Cheddar.
Oh no.
Well, today's the day.
Come here, sweetheart. You ready for the salt block? Jesus Christ.
No. Say it ain't so.
We'll not go.
Oh my God.
Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday, everyone. We're gonna go let Josh shower and please shower. I'm gonna go do some lessons. You can shower.
Lessons today?
I work all afternoon and evening.
Oh,
That's
brutal.
I'm going home to shovel the driveway and then bring wood in all
Man,
afternoon.
I might be coming over because that just sounds like a blast.
Oh, I'm gonna be major dad mode today.
Yeah, I had yesterday.
Just-
One thing I don't understand, there's like a stack of like firewood there in my backyard.
But you don't have a fireplace.
Well,
Yeah,
do you have
like,
an
this is
do you have an outdoor fireplace though?
A fire
Oh,
pit.
yes, I do have a fire pit.
We found the solution.
It's just only because I can see
glad we
it.
saw that.
Yeah, only because I can see it.
Yeah, it's right beside the fire pit.
Yeah, so I just,
3 feet away.
You know what's really fucked is I found out like a year and a half later that I had a home theater in the basement. Yeah, really fucked. But I always was like sitting there and I was like, man,
What do you do with all your time? Because we know you're not showering.
Dude, I literally like sit on
The
this.
lawnmower. Fucking.
Yes.
What's it called?
Lawnmower simulator.
Lawnmower simulator.
That's your time.
I gave that up. Honestly, it was stressful in the head. It was literally as long as mowing your actual lawn. Like I would there to mow a lawn, it would take like an hour, and I was like, man, this game is actually fucking horrendous. I was like, I've been sitting here for like 3 hours. I've mowed 2 lawns.
I'm messaging him like, hey, did you get that done? He's like, nah, sorry.
Mowing the lawn.
I'm still mowing my lawn.
Dude, it's
There's a
February.
foot of snow out there.
Yeah.
Lawnmower simulator.
All right, everyone, happy Saturday, happy weekend. I gotta go to work. You guys gotta go get some wood in the house and you have to shower.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the next episode. See you later.